Okay.
How's it going, everybody? This is officially our first episode of Hit Nation. My name is Oliver Manalese,
Christopher Lim.
and we are the Rent Busters. So pretty much what we want to do with this Hit Nation is just to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on with the Rent Busters, and also some things that we've been interested in recently, like things like books, and what are we going to talk about, like websites
Websites, technology. What do people want to know about us?
Yeah, just like
We
there's
talk about silver.
There's a lot of counterintuitive things that we do and say and think about that people have been expressing interest about. So we thought it'd be worth sharing.
Hear about our lives. Just a little insight into the lives of the Rent Busters.
Yeah, just so you can get to know us a little bit better, and we can share a little bit, speak our mind and things like that.
So yeah, I think the first thing we wanted to talk about was what we're drinking.
Yeah, this is matcha green tea. I don't know if you can see it here. It's really green.
Oh, I just spilled it.
Oh, shit.
That's why you got a jacket, right?
Good job. Yeah, I was at, we have a store called Teopia here, and I learned how to make matcha ceremonially. And what I didn't realize is that you actually can scald any type of green tea if you use any water that's over 80 degrees in temperature. So in order to do that, if you don't have, the proper equipment, I guess, you boil your water and you wait 10 minutes so that's, 5 minutes so that you have sub-boiling water.
This is what we're using. Right?
Yeah, this is the kit that you can get. So this is like a whisk, and the whisk that you use to...
Matcha?
Yeah, so it's actually, the matcha is actually the actual tea leaf, and it's completely ground. And then when you whisk it with the sub-boiling water, you're actually consuming the entire tea leaf. So that's the difference. You're not just steeping the tea, you're consuming the whole thing. And I think it's better than an espresso to me.
That's nice. It's nice and frothy. Cheers, bastard.
Yeah. Cheers, brother. To the first episode of Hit Nation.
The first episode of Hit Nation.
Awesome. So what's been going on? Yeah, so what's been going on at the Rent Busters recently that we should tell everybody?
We took a little step back. I think people who have been following us have noticed that we haven't really been out there as much, but we took a little step back, reevaluated for 2011. We saw all the success we had in 2010, and we just thought if we want to continue and grow, I think that was a big thing. We want to set up the foundation, reevaluate the foundation, right?
Yeah, and I think that's really important that we took that step back, because we wanted to build a company that's more aligned with who we are, what we're all about, and the type of lifestyle that we live.
Absolutely.
And obviously, to build a company without having a vision in mind, we'll just be completely lost.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then I think what we both saw was if it continued that way, we would have ended up with a business, well, like my dad's family business, right? We don't want to be the business. We want we want to have the business. We don't want to be the business.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, Chris's parents own a family restaurant here in Brampton called Orcel Asian Cuisine, and that's what he's referring to.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. So, long time standing in the Filipino community, and really well respected, but my dad kind of is the business, and we kind of took lessons from that and said, it's great to have the business, something that we can pass along, something that can help us get fulfillment in our lives, but we don't want to just continue to be that business. So the exit strategy, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Planning ahead for the future.
Planning ahead for the future, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't want to be the roadblock that holds the business from continuing to grow, or it's just that whole idea of creating passive income, or not completely passive business, but getting systems prepared and ready and processes ready so that if we want to take time away, like for instance this summer I'm going to be away for an entire month, we want to be able to run the business successfully, seamlessly, absolutely, and things like that.
Yeah, well, and even, something that I was going to talk about was just being able to stay home and homeschool, because that's something that my wife and I had started this year, right? You know that?
Yeah, tell us about that. I think a lot of people want to hear about that.
Yeah,
the homeschooling.
So it's just something that Michelle and I, for those of you who don't know, Michelle's my wife, something that we wanted
Another Rent Buster,
the newest Rent Buster, something that we wanted to try this year. I've got a 5-year-old, Tristan, and a 3-year-old, Brooklyn. and they're getting to that age where, well, Tristan should be starting school at the age of 6, and we wanted to explore and see. It was, we talked about the lifestyle. We wanted a mobile lifestyle, something that's a lot more conducive to how we envision our lives to be, and we didn't want to be sort of locked down into one place. So
because they were in school before, they were in private school.
Tristan was in Montessori last year, so he was there for that year, and it was great, right? The philosophies of how Montessori worked was right along with what we wanted as well, letting the kids explore and grow on their own. But just the daily routine of it is something that wasn't really not really the daily routine. I just guess the rigidity of having a single place that you had to go to on a daily basis, where it's not how we work. Like, I work from home. Sometimes you're working from U of T, from Starbucks, from Williams, right? And same thing with me, right?
Coffee shop whore is what I've
coffee,
called.
yeah. Yeah, so we wanted a lifestyle that was going to allow us to be able to do that as well, not just work from different coffee shops, but maybe from different cities, different states, different countries.
So like, how's it been? Because I know there's a lot of people who aren't aware of what homeschooling is like, or are resistant to the idea of it.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest things that we had the challenge with was, what are we doing, right? And really, a lot of it was really more just kind of self-inflicted. Are we doing the right thing? Is it working? Is it not working? Trying to figure out things to do, but
that whole social aspect.
And that's a big thing as well, was the whole social aspect. So we'll get a lot more into it, but let's just talk about the social aspect, because that's something we just started, where we actually had the boys now in a swim class every single Monday, and it's strictly, and just kind of to show everybody out there how much homeschool is growing, the class is strictly for homeschooling students.
Oh, nice.
Right? So you have to be a homeschooler to get into this class. And Monday, and they actually have, because of the size of it, they actually have 2 classes. So one in the morning, 10:30 in the morning, then one at 1:30 in the afternoon. And it's packed.
Wow. So these are homeschool kids.
All
and
homeschooling
get
kids
together, and they get to learn how to swim together.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they're all ranges. I mean, Brooklyn's 3, and there are kids that are 9, 10 that are there as well.
So it's not just one age?
Not just one age, no. The different, they segregate them into different levels, right? So, I mean, there's, Tristan and Brooklyn are in that beginning level, but they're 2 years apart. And then they've got other kids that are a couple years older, and they're already in the...
So all the kids, really introspective and whatnot? Or are they good with, interacting with other kids?
No, they're good. They're great. Right? And it's the whole social aspect, again, is, once you get the continuity of going to the class and seeing the same people every time, they're kind of your classmates, right? So they get the social aspect out of that.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's one small thing. We'll talk more about the homeschooling, but yeah, that swim class, just to show everybody out there that it is becoming a lot more popular. There are a lot more people, a lot of resources out there that will help you to homeschool, and you don't have to be so hard on yourself. That's one thing.
Okay, so is there like anything online that you can go to find out?
Yeah, we are part of the Mississauga homeschoolers group. Michelle handles all that.
Yeah,
we'll get her on. She can talk about
so I guess the answer for every question you have, just Google it.
Google it. Yeah, that's what we did when we started. Google it, and you'll find the resources that are out there. Yeah,
cool. Well, we got these books in front of us because we thought it would be cool to share. These books that were actually instrumental to the business, to the Rent Busters.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, because people always ask us, where do we get our information? How do we go about our marketing? Where do we get our strategies? And a lot of it does come from a lot of these books. And so
Chris is reading. I'm gonna talk about the book you're reading.
So yeah, you can talk about this
because I read it first.
This is your copy. So I literally just started this. I'm 20 pages into it, but you can see it's well used. I think Michelle's read this as well. You've read this.
This is like
a couple people went through this.
Honestly, this is the small business person's Bible. I actually know a good friend of mine off of Facebook that I've met, Scott Bradley. If you're watching this, hey man, thank you for hooking me up with Mike Michalowicz's work. This is, for people who saw the video, The 5 Immutable Laws of the Rent Busters, that whole concept came from this book. Mm-hmm. A lot of the foundation of, what our purpose is, what our mission is, the reason why we want to build this business, what our ideal customer is, what our values are, all these different ideas came from that book. So, I mean, I got a lot out of it. I don't think I got through the whole book at all because there's so much action steps.
Yeah,
I pretty much have like half a journal's worth of content that came out of me just because of the actual questions and actions in that book.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. And I've really just scratched the surface, but just, going over his story and him talking about, to be a success. Everybody always hears about the big successes. They talk about the Google and people who started Facebook and all those people, but they're just not,
It's called toilet paper entrepreneur because it's like, what do you do when you have that one square of toilet paper left when you finish number 2? An entrepreneur's job is to make the highest and best use of that last square.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of toilet paper.
The most out of the least. Doing it on a shoestring budget, and just kind of doing what an entrepreneur is supposed to do, right? Thinking outside the box, making things happen, without just throwing money at it. You got to be creative.
And it's different because it's like he talks to you. He literally talks to you. It's not like you're reading a book. It's almost like he's talking to you, and he swears and he's very casual and things like that.
Yeah, very open. Yeah, which is good. It's a nice, easy read too.
It sticks out a lot when you read it, and it's memorable. So definitely,
definitely a good read for any entrepreneur out there, especially
we've all read it now. So.
Yeah, we've all read it. So anybody who's starting out, right, especially if you have that shoestring budget, just to show you that you don't, the overnight successes are the ones everybody hears about, but
it takes years to be the overnight.
It takes years to be the overnight success. So that's one for you to read.
The other one that we brought here is another book that's instrumental, and I actually heard about this book from a good friend of ours. No, not a good friend of ours. Someone we follow and listen to, just for years now. Timothy Ferriss. If you haven't read his books, 4 Hour Body, 4 Hour Work Week.
We're gonna get. We could probably even have a whole Hit Nation episode.
Like series. We could probably have a series about all the stuff that we've learned from him. Yeah. So this book. It was called 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. And I really suggest this book just because it's so simple. Every chapter is about, 1 to 5 pages. And it's pretty much one law about marketing that is pretty much just evergreen. It's like, no matter where in time, because if you look at the picture in the back, like this is an old book, right? It's a really old book. But all the principles, there's one, the law of opposites. If you're shooting for second place, your strategy is determined by the leader. So, I mean, it's like using your current position to your advantage without having to try to be the number one or whatever it is. It's just being who you are, right? And just using all these different strategies, like being the first in the category and whatnot. And I read this like 3 times in the last 3 months of last year.
Well, yeah, that's why a lot of the reason why we took a step back was because of that book, right?
Yeah.
Just going over the principles of that book, taking a step back and revisiting the business, the Rentbuster business.
Which I think is huge because we went one by one with each immutable law. I remember we sat at Williams and we said one by one, okay, here's the law.
That's right.
The law of duality. How does this fit with the Rentbusters? The law of opposites. Here's a law, And just from going through it so many times now, I could, like, if I see a law, I could probably tell you what it's all about. And they have great examples, and so you understand, what exactly they're talking about. They're kind of dated, but I mean, the principles they're universal, and they're for any entrepreneur. You have to read this book, and you should go through it with a fine-tooth comb, take notes. I made a mind map. I just completely destroyed that
mind map. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah,
so,
and you can see it's such a tiny book. But if you do want the Coles Notes version, I remember I sent out the Wikipedia one, right? I think I sent that to everybody, and that's just an easy, quick. I think it's just a 1-pager PDF that has all the laws.
If you're really lazy,
if you're really lazy,
this is a one sitting kind of book.
That is.
You can sit there for like 3 hours and read the whole book. So.
Oh, geez, not even 130 pages. Exactly, 129 pages.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a one sitting. So another quick book to read as well.
Cool
for the business. So yeah.
What else are we going to talk about?
I don't know what we want to talk about.
Oh yeah, we're going to be starting. We're going to start doing a live broadcast. We're going to be testing this out. I think this is going to be an important part of the business too. We found out that we could start broadcasting live using Ustream.tv, and what we want to do is for our first live broadcast, we're going to do a Q&A with the Rentbusters. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get a lot of people coming out live, on the chats. and we'll be answering all the questions for about an hour at the end of the month. They think it's going to be for April 27th. So if you're, investors, potential homeowners in training, or real estate agents, mortgage brokers, whatever you are, or just have questions for us, we're just totally glad to answer them, and you'll be able to watch us on screen, and we'll post it up there, so it's up on our blog forever too. Yeah, so the power of technology, and that's for free, just toilet paper entrepreneurs, right? Just do everything at little cost as possible, keep it mobile, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's it. Was there anything else? We want to talk about a couple more things, right? I talked about homeschooling.
Did you music.
There you go.
Music, yeah. Music. So if you guys don't already know, I'm also a singer-songwriter, musician, whatever you want to call it. And this year has been really the first year. You know what? I might as well just give the shout out to my good friend of mine and mentor, Philip McKernan. It was, less than a year ago where I was sitting in a room, and he has this program. It's like a personal development type of program called Basecamp. And you're supposed to figure out what your summit is, what your main goal is for the next 12 months. Because this whole idea is, when you have multiple goals, it's hard to, keep track. When you have one pinnacle goal to shoot for, and then you put your entire focus on that, that's really what's most important when you shoot for that and achieve it. I think for him it was, writing his first book and whatnot. So for me, I went in there and I thought I was being, all smart, because it took me a lot of soul searching, a lot of thinking, and a lot of journaling to find out what my summit was. And when he asked me the question, I'm just like, I know it because I did the work. And I put my hand up. And I'm just like, yeah, well, not there yet. We're not there yet. But he's just like, yeah. So Oliver, what's your summit? So I'm just like, well, it's been a while since I've been, dating. I'm single. Put my number there later. No kidding. So I'm single, and it's been a while since I've been, gone out on dates or had a girlfriend or whatever it is. So I think my summit is to have a couple of dates, meet some girls, maybe eventually find a girlfriend in the next 12 months. I'm going to make that my goal, kind of thing. Because I miss that, I miss having that feminine energy and, the dating scene kind of thing, which I'm not familiar with at all. So
it's changed a lot, right?
It's changed a lot.
I remember you talking about that a little bit.
And he pretty much says, bullshit. If you know him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So he says, Oliver, that's complete bullshit. And he's just like, that is not your summit. So he starts asking me these questions. He just gets it out of you, right? So he guides you towards finding it out. Right. Just, ask me what my story is, where I come from, what's been going on. And I went, see, this is where I went to school, and this is what I was interested in, and blah, 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 blah. And I just jumped through all these different things about my life. And he's like, hey, stop. What's this about music? What are you talking about here? Tell me more about music. Yeah. And I was just telling him that, it's a huge passion of mine ever since I was young. And I've always wanted to, be a musician or share my music. And because I'm creative and I continue to write music and things like that. But I kind of, my dreams were kind of squandered when I was just like, how am I supposed to make money doing this? Right? How am I supposed to, make a living from music? I'm going to build my real estate business first, and then I'll work on my music, I'll work on my craft. This is my gift, this is my talent. And then I'll get into, music production or whatever it was. Right. And literally what I learned was we only get, and this is one of the things that he says that I learned, is we only give ourselves what we feel we deserve. And when I thought about that, I'm just like, holy shit, I am not giving that to myself because I'm telling myself I don't deserve it. Right. Which was just an eye-opener, right? Because I put all these, stumbling blocks or all these roadblocks in the way of, we have to do this first before I get to here. I have to get this done before I get to here. And it's always, there's something in the way before I can get my passion. And what he's saying is, that is your summit. Right. Music is your summit. You've been putting this off. You've been telling yourself that you don't deserve it. You've been putting this off in your life. Make that your summit. That is what you need to do. You need to go back to your passion, right? Step into your passion. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, I was not expecting that because I thought I knew the answer. Yeah. And the last thing he said before he went to the next volunteer, I guess, for the question is, he says, make the music, and and the girls will come. And little did I know that is exactly what came true. I invested in some equipment, just recording my music, working on my craft, working on myself, just getting my sound ready, and now I'm working on my first EP ever.
Yep.
And I've been recording a lot of YouTube videos on my YouTube channel.
For those of you who want to go check it out, Oliver Gerard. My favorite song, 7 a.m. Got to check that out. And your last one too was really what was the name?
These Games We Play.
These Games We Play.
Yeah. So I started making my music, and I just focused on that. I wasn't thinking about girls or dating or asking girls out or anything like that. But yeah, so
fell into place.
So now it falls into place and it did come true. I am in the dating scene, so to speak.
Maybe we should talk about that next time.
Yeah,
how the dating scene changed.
How it's changed. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. I think
you can talk about it. I can't talk about that. I have no clue. That's foreign to me.
Yeah, I asked this guy for his opinion, and it's like, hey man, what do you think this means when a girl says this or does this? And this guy doesn't have no clue.
I've been on lockdown for ages.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So there's a lot happening. I just don't want to. We
can't get it all. We need to talk about that next time. We'll talk about that. We should write that down.
Yeah, but we'll do another episode where we talk a little bit more about the homeschooling and you know what? And I guess we can talk more about how we've taken the principles from 4-hour work week and the toilet paper entrepreneur, and how it reflects in the types of services that we use at the Rent Busters.
Yeah, absolutely.
The low cost services that we leverage. So that we have, good marketing campaigns, nice websites, and great ideas.
Yeah, we need to talk about how we integrate all these things, and
all the mobile apps,
MacBook,
how it's possible to work
iPhone,
anywhere.
iPad.
Yeah.
We'll talk a lot about that.
So there's lots to talk about. We're really excited for Hit Nation and what we're doing with these. I guess just short videos that we want to share about what's going on.
And we should put out there to the audience. If there's something that you guys want to know.
Leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments. And then that's something we can talk about for the next episode.
Yeah,
or one of the future episodes.
Yeah, these are more for you guys. So if you guys have questions or there's topics that you want us to cover, just put it in the comments and we'll get through all of them for sure.
Yeah. Oh, this is what we should finish off with this.
Oh yeah. Okay, so for people who don't know, we are actually active savers in precious metals, and more so in silver.
Silver. Yeah. So for anybody who hasn't been following, the price of silver went over 42 American, over 40 Canadian earlier this week, and then it dipped a bit. And I think just today went back up over. Let's take a look at what it's at right now.
I think it's like 39 or something like that, or 40.
I saw it over 40 earlier.
The reason I learned, the first time I got exposed to, precious metals and silver and gold and things like that is because I watched a YouTube video of Ron Paul and Peter Schiff and all those guys. It was just like a montage. And talking about how the monetary system steals from the poor and the middle class and gives to the rich. And no one's debated.
YouTube it.
Yeah, YouTube it. No one's debated if that's true or not, right? So I did my own research and my own homework to find out really what's going on. And the fact is, when you research the monetary system, the banking system, and how all of that works, money is literally printed out of thin air, right?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, money's created when you get that mortgage. The debt is created. It's not like that money came from savings.
Type it into the computer and boom.
Yeah, a real capitalist system. You would take that money from savings. So that would mean, the Rent Busters has accumulated enough wealth, and now we're going to put it into the marketplace to make a return for ourselves. Right. But the banks don't do that. So literally, how I saw that, I'm just like, this is stealing, is it not? Because if I make $50,000 a year, but there's banks that are able to just print this money out of nothing, doesn't it dilute the money supply? Doesn't it dilute the value of the currency? So that's why I think when I started saving silver, it was silver dollars, anything before 1968 in Canada, the actual silver content was around like 70 or 80%, whatever it was, and that was like $13 an ounce Canadian. That was Canadian.
Imagine.
Today is what? What'd you say?
The price right now is.
And you're using
40. Okay, yeah. So this is what I'm looking at kitco.com, or it's a Kitco app. So it's just an app on the iPhone, and you guys can see. I don't know if you can see, but this is silver. The performance of silver over the last 6 months.
So really, it's
at 40.59.
It's not really. I mean, I'd say it's a speculation, right? It is a speculation. Yeah. It is. It's not investing. It's what we consider as wealth preservation.
Yeah, it's saving, wealth preservation.
Yeah, because 6 months ago, it was on your birthday. So on Chris's birthday, I won't say how old you are.
I'm not that old.
I gave him a silver. No. I gave him a silver maple. I don't know if that was your first one.
That was my first one.
Yeah, so I gave him a silver maple, and I think I think it was like $19 an ounce Canadian. That was July 2000.
That was like 19 something, 50, 60, 1960.
So that same silver maple that I gave you on your birthday today is worth $40.
$40.51.
So it doubled. Yeah. So if
your birthday's in July, so that's what. 8
we're not saying for you to believe us, and anything that we're saying. I want you to do your own research. But if you price, the median price of real estate or your median salary in silver, and you look at it in that sense, if silver was worth $20 an ounce in August 2010, and it's $40 an ounce in April 2011, price what your median real estate price would be, or the actual cost of buying things. I mean, I know that the box of rice in your kitchen, cupboard has gone up in value more than the U.S. dollar has.
I think what people are going to understand the most is what everybody does is at the pump. I mean, everybody sees the price at the pump. Something that everybody's going to understand. And if you buy your own groceries, you're going to understand that dollars not worth as much anymore.
Yeah,
right?
Things just
you need a lot more of these dollars. You need a lot more of these dollars to buy this stuff. Right?
Yeah, so it's it's something that we think it's important to share. I mean, that's just literally scratching the surface on what we know about it and what's worth talking about it. There's a lot behind the silver. I mean, gold and silver has been money for over 5,000 years. I think one of the best places to go is to search for people like Ron Paul, Peter Schiff. Who else is there out there?
Talking about silver.
Mike Maloney.
Mike Maloney.
Jason Hommel. Yeah, that's right. So so don't just believe, and that's another thing. Don't believe everything that you hear from what you see on the internet. Cross-reference it. You have to look for consistencies. Does it, are these facts able to be reproduced over and over and over again? Is this truthful? That's the whole thing, right?
Well, we're just talking about stuff that interests us.
Yeah.
Right. Because people, they always want to.
Well, I don't want them to think that we're giving them advice.
No,
like investment.
Definitely not advice. This is stuff that we're like the books. These are the books that we read.
This is what works for us. So that's a little caveat there.
Like this is the stuff that we like, right? Not going to work for everybody. Not everybody's going to love it. Just stuff that works for us.
Right. Cool. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for today.
Yeah.
We'll do it every once in a while, and we'll post it up for everyone to watch.
Random ep number 2.
Hit Nation.
Hit Nation.
And Hit Nation. Actually, Hit stands for Homework and Training. If you don't know, so part of our business.
We can put that in the comments.
Awesome. So
in the description.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you then.
All right. Take care.